Hi, my name is Babree, and this is the Actress Chronicles Part 2. If you remember, I did an interview with the Actress Chronicles last year. It was almost a year ago. Or no, it was a little over a year ago. It was in November of last year, and it is now December of 2014, and we are back in, well, kind of the Central Park area, 59th Street and 5th Avenue, and I literally just got back to New York. I moved to LA, and I literally have been back maybe an hour. But I'm so happy to be back, and you are my first, you're my first person that I'm speaking to today. So I'm so happy to be back. Anyway, so I've done a lot of stuff actually since I've last talked to you guys. So yeah, that was in November. Late November, I filmed a commercial actually here in New York. Well, it was actually shot in Connecticut, but it was called The Body Dryer. And so I did the commercial for that, and I wasn't the spokesperson, but I was kind of like a demonstration model. And it was really fun. And it's really funny because that actually got like international like recognition. They've been selling the product like all over the world, and literally like maybe in the springtime I would Google body dryer and all these news articles would just come up from like Brazil, Canada, Italy, France, Portugal, Mexico, Australia, like all these places, and you would see like my picture there, and I was just like, wow, that's so awesome. So it got a lot of recognition. I have my notes because I feel like I've done so much stuff, so I wrote a little note. So that was in the late fall, early winter. And then in the springtime, I did this web series, and I was in an episode, it was called Gringolandia. The name is not to be offensive, but so it's basically about this guy that comes from Chile to New York, and it's kind of like his adventures in America, and it's really funny, it's a comedy. So I played this model. He's trying to get like this hot dog business going, and I played this model who's, you know, posing with the hot dogs, and he's trying to come in and get pictures, you know, with the hot dogs, and the camera guy is like, you know, no, get out of here, like we need a model, you know. And anyway, so it's very short, but it's a comedy and it's really funny. So I did that. Then shortly right after, I can't remember if I was talking in my last interview about doing theater. I mean, I think I did mention that I grew up doing theater, and it has been like almost 10 years since I did that. But I knew I wanted to do theater in New York. I knew there was like, I was like, there's no way, I can't leave New York without doing a New York City theater. Like, come on. So towards the springtime, I was looking at like the castings and stuff like that, and I actually auditioned for six musicals, and I got callbacks for all of them, and I was trying to decide like, well, which one, you know, like how can you make a decision? So anyway, I ended up getting an off-Broadway show called Jury Duty, directed by J.D. Lawrence, and it was really great. I mean, we didn't do as many shows as we were supposed to, but I mean, who knows, that may pick back up again. I hope it will. I mean, he has a long record of shows, so it would be fantastic. But so yeah, it's really funny. Like, so I hadn't done theater in 10 years, and then I just kind of like jumped right back into doing it. And it's funny because you think you know like everything that there is to know, like, oh, I've done that before. But after 10 years, jumping back into that, like in rehearsals, like I felt like my ass was being kicked. Like I was just like, oh my God, like how did I get this show? Like I'm with all these amazing actors, like how did I get the show? But I was really, really fortunate that I did get the show, and that the director, wait for that. Just a typical day in New York City. Yes. Anyway. But yeah, about my show. I was really, really fortunate that I was cast, and that the director did work with me, and even though I felt like my ass was being kicked, like I loved it. And you know, being on stage and all that, like it just brought back like that feeling that I was like, oh my God, like why did I ever stop this? Like, and I wanted to do more. I was like, wait, maybe I don't want to move to LA anymore. Like I want to keep doing Broadway. But I did. Oh, but before I go into LA, so let's see. So after my show, I auditioned for a small independent film called Holocaust Cannibal, and I got a role. I mean, it's kind of controversial. I mean, the film is not controversial, but people just hearing the name, Holocaust Cannibal, they're like a little taken back by it. They're like, oh my God, are you really doing a, you know, oh my God, you're playing a Nazi? You know, they were like, that's gonna ruin your career, oh my God. But it was supposed to be funny and silly, like, it wasn't a show or it wasn't a film about pro-Nazi. I would never do that. So it kind of stirred a little controversy in the beginning, and people were like, I can't believe that you're doing that. But it was so silly. I mean, it literally just came out like last week or the week before, and I watched it for the first time. And I mean, it was pretty much basically what I expected. I don't think anything was cut out from what I did. So it was silly. Like, I mean, it's about a bunch of Nazis that escape their country, Germany, and they're on a plane and they crash in Argentina, and you know, it's on an island of cannibals, and they get eaten and they get raped and everything that they deserve. So if people really took the time to listen to what it is about, they would say, oh, okay, so you know, they deserve that. This is not a pro, you know. So that was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of stage combat. Hadn't done stage combat since I was in film school, and yeah, so I was hadn't done it as much, but the director kind of just like step by step worked me through it, and it's so funny, like when you see it now, it looks like I'm like really kicking ass, but it was step by step, and it was a long day of shooting, very, very long day of shooting, and fortunately the weather was nice. I was supposed to film, I think a couple weeks earlier, and it was just like so hot and humid, and I had a few mishaps that I wasn't able to make it anyway, but so yeah, fortunately the weather was really nice that day, but it was a long, long day of filming, and I was so tired by the end of it. And then he's like, let's do an interview, like at the end, and I was just like, I was dead. So yeah, I moved to LA October 31st when my lease was up in New York. And everyone was like, are you sure you're ready for that? Like, you know, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it, like, and I did. And I mean, it's been good. It's been good. I've only been out there less than 2 months right now, but I love it. And within the first week that I was there, I was contacted from somebody that saw one of my websites up somewhere, and they're like, hey, like you fit the look for what we're looking for, like you should come down and audition. So I did, and I went through 3 auditions before they decided they were gonna put me in the film. And then it actually worked out to my advantage because they were gonna put me for a smaller part, and then I guess the director liked what I was doing, so now I have a bigger part. And but we don't start filming that until March. I'm on kind of a vacation right now, but not really. I'll be in New York for a week and a half, and I'm just working. I have work, tons of work booked. Not really with acting, mostly just modeling gigs. And then when I get back to LA, we're gonna start going in rehearsals again, and that won't be filmed until March, somewhere in LA. Not sure yet. So what else can I say? So as I mentioned, I have a lot of modeling gigs coming up here in New York. And when I was living here, I was like really, really busy with that. And I can't remember if I really went into detail about what I really like do. I mean, it's so funny because like I feel like in New York, there's so much like freelance work. You know, people will just be like, hey, I'm doing this book. Hey, I have this small clothing line. Whatever it may be. Hey, I'm building my portfolio. What else? Whatever it may be. So that's kind of been my advantage here in New York. I feel like there's been so much of that, and you know, I can get hired for that really easily, I guess, because there's so many people just doing like kind of like underground freelance work. In LA, I feel like everything is just very like there's not many freelancers. Everyone's just kind of like working for a company, and everyone has an agent, and which is good. I mean, I think it will be more beneficial towards my career eventually, but I just got to get there. But since I lived out here for so long, I lived out here for over 10 years, and New York is my home. I kind of just like, I went through my phone and I was just like, who do I know? And I was like, I'll be back in New York. I'll be back in New York. And like within like less than an hour, like I just like had my whole week booked. So yeah, I'm just kind of doing the same, just like working for people that are like looking for images for their portfolio. That's mostly it this week. I mean, just small gigs. As I was saying before, that I literally just like got back to New York like an hour ago. It's funny, like as I'm coming through, I was like, oh, I miss New York. And I was kind of having a nostalgic moment. Like I was like, every single block had a story, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, get myself together. But then as I was coming here, I just had to pass like all of like the holiday shops on Fifth Avenue and Rockefeller Center and the Christmas tree and all these, and it was all gated off. And literally like everyone was like packed in, like left, right, front, sideways, diagonal. Like I could not move. And I've never been in a situation like that except for last year on New Year's Eve, because I tried to go somewhere close to Times Square thinking like, oh, I'll just cut right in after. And you used to be able to do that. Not anymore. It's big security now. But so that's the only time that I can remember ever being packed in like that. And so I had like my suitcases and my purses, and I had bags, and you know, I'm here for like a week and a half. I had all my stuff with me, and I could not move. I was literally like for 30 minutes just like standing there, and everyone's like pushing, and I was like, oh my God, welcome back to New York. I was like, that I don't miss. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here for a visit and work, and then I'll be happy to go back to LA. So, since we're on the topic of New York and LA, it's really funny. Like, so I was here over 10 years, and like I said, like this is home to me. I'm so comfortable with it. But when I was telling people I want to go to LA, everyone's like, what do you want to do that for? I was like, hello, I'm an actress. But they're like, well, you know, there's so much work in New York too. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, it's always been like, it's in my plan. That's where I've always wanted to go. And you know, I always said I was going to start in New York, then go to LA, and probably end up spending the rest of my life in LA, just because I really like it. And everyone was like, are you sure you're ready? Like, you know, maybe you should get some more, you know, bigger work here. Maybe you should get a TV show here, or whatever the case may be. Or, oh, you need a car. You don't have enough money saved up. Da 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 da. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. And I did. And I have no regrets. Like, I think kind of like being in New York for so long, I always say like I have like a hustler spirit. I mean, it's true. Like, I mean, you gotta hustle in order to make it in the city. And if you take that same attitude and you can go to LA or you can go to anywhere else, you're gonna make it and you're not gonna fail. Like, you're gonna succeed, because you just gotta have that drive and that ambition. And if you're doing everything that it takes, even if you get one job a month, you're still gonna work. And then that job might lead to another job, or that person might hire you again. You know, that's how you build up work. When I first came to New York, I was not working like I am now. I would have never been able to look through my phone and say, hey, I'm here, let's work, you know? I would have never been able to do that because I didn't know anybody. But I built all of those contacts, and that's how I'm able to do that now. And I'm a new face in LA. I've only been there less than 2 months, and I've been still working. You know, I've been modeling, and I just want to keep building up all of that. So, to people that say, oh, are you sure about that? You know, you're not ready. Think about it. Whatever it may be, just do it.